Have you ever wondered if the terrifying legends of werewolves could actually be true? What if I told you that history holds chilling accounts of real people cursed to become savage beasts? Stay with me because, by the end of this video, you might start believing in the impossible. Throughout history, the tales of werewolves, humans cursed to transform into beasts, have not just been figments of imagination. They are based on real events involving real people who were believed to be possessed by something far more sinister than mere superstition. From medieval villages paralyzed by fear to horrifying confessions that defy explanation, these stories will make you question everything you thought you knew about the line between man and monster. Tonight, we delve into 5 real-life werewolf horror stories that have left their mark on history. But be warned, what you're about to hear might just keep you up at night, and perhaps even change your perspective on the supernatural. Our first story takes us back to 12th century Ireland, a time when the dense forests of Ossory were said to be home to creatures far more fearsome than mere wolves. According to legend, the werewolves of Ossory were not ordinary beasts. They were cursed humans doomed to roam the night in terrifying wolf form. Imagine the scene. A solitary priest, traveling through the misty woods, stumbles upon a man who appears more beast than human. The man, with wild eyes and ragged breath, reveals a harrowing truth. He and his wife have been cursed, forced to live as wolves for 7 long years, driven by urges they can scarcely control. The priest, torn between fear and compassion, offers what little aid he can, administering religious rites in a desperate attempt to alleviate the man's suffering. The fear and uncertainty of these cursed individuals will surely evoke empathy and emotional connection in you. Medieval Ireland was a land shrouded in mystery, where the boundaries between the natural and supernatural were often blurred. The eerie isolation of the forests, the cold silence of the night, and the ever-present fear of what lurked in the shadows, all of these elements made the werewolves of Ossory a tale that struck terror into the hearts of those who heard it. But the true horror lies in the idea of being trapped in a wolf's body, struggling against the primal instincts that drive one to kill. The thought of losing one's humanity, of becoming a monster, is a fear that resonates across centuries. The struggle against these primal instincts will surely make you feel sympathetic and emotionally engaged. And so, we must ask ourselves, could these cursed werewolves still be hiding in the forests of Ireland, waiting for their chance to return to human form? Or are they merely a figment of our darkest fears, brought to life by the stories passed down through generations? Next, we journey to 16th century Germany, where a simple farmer named Peter Stump became known as the Werewolf of Bedburg. The brutality of his crimes shocked the entire nation, leaving a legacy of fear and horror that lingers to this day. Stump's tale begins with a chilling confession. He claimed to have made a pact with the devil himself, who granted him the power to transform into a wolf at will. In this monstrous form, Stump admitted to committing unspeakable acts, murdering, dismembering, and consuming his victims, many of whom were children. As more bodies were discovered, the fear among the villagers grew, and they became convinced that a werewolf was stalking their town. The terror that gripped Bedburg was palpable. People feared to venture out after dark, whispering of the wolf man who might be lurking just beyond the light of their fires. But was Stump truly a werewolf, or was something far more sinister at play? The question haunts us still. Was he a man driven to madness, or did he genuinely possess the dark power he claimed? The line between man and beast blurred in the most terrifying way, leaving a legacy of dread that would be remembered for centuries. Our third tale takes us to 18th century France, where the beast of Gévaudan ravaged the countryside, leaving over 100 people dead in its wake. This creature's relentless attacks terrified the region, and despite the best efforts of hunters, the beast remained elusive for years. The beast was unlike any ordinary wolf, massive, powerful, and seemingly invincible. It attacked with a ferocity that left entire villages in a state of panic. The French king himself issued a royal decree to hunt down the creature, yet it continued its bloody rampage, evading capture and spreading fear throughout the land. The true nature of the beast of Gévaudan remains one of the most enduring mysteries in history. Was it a giant wolf, a man transformed by dark forces, or something else entirely? Even after its supposed death, When a large wolf was finally killed and the attacks ceased, the legend of the beast lived on. The uncertainty of its origins and the horror of its deeds have left a lingering sense of unease that still chills the bones. Could something like the beast still exist, hidden in the shadows, waiting to strike again? In the fourth tale, we travel to 16th century France, where another man named Gilles Garnier became infamous as the Werewolf of Chalon. His story is one of brutal killings and the blurring of the line between man and beast. Garnier was a reclusive figure, living in isolation on the outskirts of town. But when children began to go missing, only to be found later, savagely mutilated, suspicion quickly fell on him. Garnier confessed to the killings, claiming that he used a demonic ointment to transform into a wolf. In this form, he hunted and killed children, driven by an insatiable hunger. His eventual capture and execution did little to ease the fears of the townspeople, who were left to wonder what kind of creature could commit such atrocities. The horror of Garnier's actions is not just in the brutality of the murders, but in the possibility that he truly believed he was a wolf. The idea that such dark forces could consume a man to the point where he loses all humanity is a chilling thought. Was Garnier a madman, or was he truly cursed? And if he was, how many others like him might be lurking in the shadows, driven by the same monstrous hunger? Finally, we turn to 17th century Livonia, where an elderly man named Thys claimed to be a werewolf, but not the kind you would expect. Thys's story is unique in the world of werewolf legends because he saw himself not as a monster, but as a protector. During his trial, Thys made a startling confession. He claimed that he and others like him were hounds of God, werewolves who fought against witches and demons to protect the human world. According to Thys, these werewolves would descend into hell to battle evil spirits and ensure they couldn't bring harm to the living. This bizarre and unsettling claim left his judges baffled, but Thys remained adamant, insisting that werewolves were not predators but protectors. The idea of a werewolf with a moral code who fights against evil, rather than succumbing to it, is as intriguing as it is unsettling. It forces us to question everything we think we know about these creatures. Could Thys have been telling the truth? Were these werewolf heroes hiding in the shadows, battling unseen forces to keep us safe? Or was this simply the delusion of a man trying to justify his own dark urges? The truth may never be known, but the mystery adds a new layer of complexity to the already terrifying legend of the werewolf. As we look back at the stories we've explored tonight, it's clear that the legends of werewolves are more than just frightening tales. From the cursed werewolves of Ossory, trapped in their beastly forms, to Peter Stump, the werewolf of Bedburg, who claimed to have made a pact with the devil himself, we've ventured through the terror of the beast of Gévaudan, which left a trail of death across 18th century France, and the horrifying acts of Gilles Garnier, the werewolf of Chalon, who believed he could transform into a wolf with the help of a dark demonic ointment. Finally, we ended our journey in Livonia, where Thys, the so-called Hound of God, claimed that werewolves were protectors, not predators, battling the forces of evil in secret. As we look back at the stories we've explored tonight, it's clear that the legends of werewolves are more than just frightening tales. From the cursed werewolves of Ossory, trapped in their beastly forms, to Peter Stump, the werewolf of Bedburg, who claimed to have made a pact with the devil himself, we've ventured through the terror of the beast of Gévaudan, which left a trail of death across 18th century France, and the horrifying acts of Gilles Garnier, the werewolf of Chalon, who believed he could transform into a wolf with the help of a dark demonic ointment. Finally, we ended our journey in Livonia, where Thys, the so-called Hound of God, claimed that werewolves were protectors, not predators, battling the forces of evil in secret. Each of these stories raises chilling questions about the nature of werewolves. Were these people truly cursed? Did madness drive them? Or did something far more sinister transform them into the monsters of legend? Whether these werewolves were real or the result of hysteria, one thing is certain: these stories have left a permanent scar on history. As you lay down to sleep tonight, remember that the next full moon is never far away. Do you believe in werewolves? Or are these stories just the product of fear and superstition? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Your thoughts might just be as haunting as the stories themselves.